My 24 female, sister 27 female, is the golden child. She always gets her way at anything she wants. If our parents can give it to her, clothes, college, car, phone, anything she asks for, and it doesn't matter if something is left for us or not. This turned my sister into a total raging bee whom everyone hates. And when I say everyone, is everyone. She already has 3 divorces at 27. She doesn't have any friends. Our cousins and uncles would rather not come if she's here. And, well, she hates us too. But me especially, since I'm the only other daughter that my parents have. They don't love me as much like her, it's pretty obvious. But my brothers do, and she despises me for that. One of the things that drives her crazy more than anything is our career. We're both architects. I studied it because I've always been interested in it, and she did it to spite me. She tried to force me to get into another one because she wanted to be the only architect in the family. I put my foot down and said that she was no one to force anything, and that I was going to study anything I wanted. Needless to say, my parents stopped talking to me for a whole month, and my brother paid for my first year since they retained my college fund. Even when she went into a much better college, I got my info sent to an important architectural office by one of my teachers. They contacted me and set up an interview. I knew I shouldn't have said anything, but I was so proud that I called my parents to let them know. They acted happy for me, smooched all the info, and when I was done, they told me to let my sister go instead of me and that I could get something else. I said obviously no, and they tried to guilt trip me by saying that I already stole her career and that I couldn't do the same with her job. I just snorted and hung up. I thought they would drop it, but when I presented to my interview, they told me that my name had already come, broke some expensive stuff, and threatened to sue them for harassment while they dragged her to the exit. I was confused because I didn't do any of that, and showed them my ID, my papers, and the recommendation letter from my teacher. It turned out that my sister was the one who came to the interview, and when they didn't let her pass because my appointment was later, she went bat crazy and ran when they were calling the police. I was so ashamed and enraged that I gave them her whole info, and they sent a police officer to our house to get her arrested for property damage and fraud. My parents obviously helped her out, and when she got out of jail, my parents demanded an apology. I just said, play stupid games and win stupid prizes. My parents kicked me out because I got her arrested and made fun of her. I moved with my brother and got the job. My parents don't talk to me anymore. Maybe I was the a-hole after all. I miss them a lot and caused them trouble. Not the a-hole. I don't see any way you could possibly be the a-hole with the info you gave. Your sister and parents are nuts, and if I were you, I'd be glad not to have to deal with them anymore. So not the a-hole. I think your parents and sister may have mental issues. Did they let you do the interview? I really hope so. Good luck. Shut them up by being the best version of you that you can be, regardless of their influence. You're obviously not the a-hole. What your sister did is awful, and really you should have just kept it to yourself and not involved your parents until after you had secured the job. Now that you've cut ties with them, I'd say you need to move on and let them come to you with a sincere apology. They're toxic as hell. At least you have your brother and a good job, which I hope you'll be able to excel in. I understand if you miss them, but they clearly don't care about you. They literally wanted to give your sister your job opportunity. That's crazy. Seriously, you're better off without their nonsense.
Have a Ring doorbell, along with many cameras in the living room, kitchen, and mine in my husband's bedroom. He knows about all the cameras. Let me make that clear. He knows they are there, and he is okay with it. You see, about 3 years ago, before we got together, have been together for 5 years now, I was in my apartment living by myself. Long story short, someone broke in. I tried to fight back and got the crap beat out of me and had all my prized possessions stolen. I was in the hospital for a few days. The guy was never caught. And ever since, I have a lot of anxiety. Hence, the cameras now. I am in therapy and have been for 2 years now, and I am doing better. The cameras are a security blanket, and my therapist thinks they are fine as they help me feel better without being intrusive. Anyway, on to what happened. My husband and I are staunchly child-free, and his mother hates that. She brought it up for years, and we told her no every time. I thought she'd finally given up on the idea, but I guess not. My husband and I are at work when I get a notification from Ring on my phone. My mother-in-law was at our house, and she had a spare key. I didn't give her one, that's for sure, to get in. She was supposed to be gone in another state visiting her sister, so I was confused and decided to check the inside cameras later. I get home before husband, so I sit down and check the living room video to see she went towards the back bedrooms. I pull up the bedroom camera and find her snooping through our stuff. Important to note, we used to use condoms and birth control pills, but then I switched to IUD. We still use condoms. The switch was recent, so I still had my old birth control pills in my nightstand. I see her shuffle around in my nightstand and pull out my birth control pill case and leave the bedroom with them. I go and check, and they are in the nightstand again, so she took them and returned them afterwards. I check the living room footage again, and after going to my room, she goes to the kitchen. Kitchen footage shows her taking the birth control pills and putting them in the microwave. She heated them up for about 2 minutes, then put them back where they belong. I was so ducking furious because to me, it seems like she was tampering with my birth control in an attempt to get me pregnant. I'm shocked she didn't pull out a pen and start poking holes in the condoms too. When husband gets home, I show him the footage with all the timestamps. He was reasonably upset too, so I told him I want to speak to a lawyer and maybe the cops for breaking and entering because we never gave her a key and I don't know how she got a copy. Husband was with me until that. Then he flipped on me and told me I'm being dramatic. I don't even use birth control pills anymore, so who cares? And accused me of trying to isolate him from his mom. He called me a B, packed his bag, and then went to go stay with his friend. It's been 3 days and he hasn't been back yet. What the duck do I do? Do I confront mother-in-law? Do I ignore husband and go to the lawyer, police still anyway? This feels bat crap. I don't know why he's so mad at me when she's the one potentially committing crimes here. Get a lawyer, press charges. However, this could be the end of your marriage. Ducking creepy that she broke into your house and did that. Imagine what else she's done that you don't know about. Your significant other not wanting his mom to be criminally charged is understandable. However, the way he reacted is totally out of line. Also, like another commenter said, he may have given her the key, duplicate, and trying to cover it up as it would most likely emerge from a police investigation. He may not want to be childless, or could have been playing both sides by providing the key while knowing the plan wouldn't work. This way, he gets to be the good guy while avoiding conflict with his mother. Consult a divorce lawyer and get everything ready. Include the video evidence, etc. You don't have to file, but just ensure your exit strategy is solid. Edit. A few things I have kinda deduced with your help. My husband either A. gave mother-in-law his key, B. made a copy of his and gave it to her, or C. did neither and she took his key without permission to clone it. I'm leaning towards B. I don't think he was in cahoots with her though, because he knows about the cameras and he knows I switched from birth control pills to a UID. For those who are asking, we have had repeated convos over the years about being child-free, and he always presented a united front with me. So I don't think he's changed his mind. I think he's just overwhelmed because his mother is crazy. I'm going to call his friend that he's with in the morning since it's getting late. I'll get the message to him that he has to come home and speak to me, or I'll just start the process of a divorce. Update. There isn't any good news. Tried calling my husband for another day before I finally gave up and called his friends to see who he was staying with. Finally, one told me he was staying with his mother. I called mother-in-law's landline and luckily he answered. I told him we had to talk face to face, otherwise I'll just go through with a divorce. He comes by, confesses he was staying with his mom and didn't tell me because he knew I'd be mad. After some pushing, he admitted to making a copy of his key and giving his mom one. He confessed to wanting kids. I asked about why his dating profile way back when said child-free, why he put up a united front of no children with me for years, only to suddenly change his mind. He said it was because he saw how lonely his mom is and agrees now that we need kids to liven up holidays, to give her something to do, etc. As in, his sole reason now for having kids were for his mother, not his own, not a change of heart, just because his mom wanted grandbabies. He insisted, though, that he didn't realize his mom would go this far, which I believe, because if they were plotting, then he would have told her I was no longer on birth control, and tampering with it would do nothing. He would have also told her not to break in because of the cameras. I packed his crap in a trash bag and kicked him out. Told him to go back to mommy and that my divorce lawyer will be in contact soon. At this point, I hadn't changed the locks. I wasn't sure of the legality of it and didn't want to do something that could potentially hurt my chances in court. Besides, I didn't think mother-in-law would show up again because she had her baby boy. Turns out, I was wrong. She showed up later knocking, and I pretended not to be home, as my car was in the garage and she couldn't see it. She knocked for 15 minutes, and I debated calling the police, but before I could, she entered the property with her key. I was furious, and not going to lie, it gave me a flashback to my attack and I had a panic attack. I was inconsolable and crying. I ended up locking myself in the bathroom. She called me a soul crusher, heartless, and a crappy wife, along with some other colorful insults, before finally leaving. It took like 5 hours to calm down. After that, I called my brother. He's staying with me now. He's changed the locks, and he's helped me with contacting a lawyer and starting the divorce. Husband has been doing damage control and got to all friends and family before I could, and spun a BS lie that I was trying to isolate him from his mother, that I'm making false police reports, etc. Sucks to say, a majority believe him, because he was their friend first before me, but I was able to talk to a few and tell them my side of the story. And that's where I am, about to be divorced, honestly scared and upset, and am now doing 2 therapy sessions a week to try to work on all the progress that had been lost when soon-to-be ex-mother-in-law broke in again. So, we're getting married in 7 months, and our friend, male-to-female trans woman, drops this bombshell on us. We have known her for a couple of years through online community, and she is a dear friend of ours. I have always known she's a bit sensitive, and have learned to navigate around her in such a way that she doesn't get upset. She basically needs a lot of attention, and I have to admit that being around her is mentally draining to me. I have anxiety issues. But I'm not sure if that's just me being overly anxious about useless stuff. I have also noticed that she might be trying to copy what me and my fiancé are doing. For example, when we announced our engagement, she immediately announced the next day that she and her girlfriend, also from the same community, are now engaged. This is just one example, but this kind of thing has happened often with her. It's not that big of a deal though. She has been hinting on wanting to do a gender reveal party for herself when she has an opportunity to meet her friends in real life. Now she said that our wedding is basically the only occasion like this, and we should do something. She's now fussing over everything and asking us to put aside a time slot for her party and plan some gender-affirming activities for everyone to do. We didn't even want to have a big wedding, more of a casual cookout thing with close friends. She is invited. Hence, she probably figured this is fine. I also despise wedding games or any silly games and activities for events altogether. It just gives me massive anxiety, and I can't deal with crap like that. I asked her if we could maybe plan a meeting well before or after the wedding. No, it has to be during the wedding since she can't travel abroad that often. She's also now super distraught over me hinting that she's not important enough for this kind of thing, and my attitude feels just transphobic to her. My fiancé is suggesting we should just have the party for her because otherwise there will be massive drama unless we uninvite her and her girlfriend completely. Which is totally true, but I don't know. She has also threatened, jokingly, that she's going to show up in a wedding dress since I won't be wearing a traditional wedding dress anyways. She's not a bad person, and I know she's only doing this because she feels she needs all the assuring that she is in fact a woman. But she is. Everyone already 100% accepts her. I just don't feel like this is the time and place for her party. That would have a completely different mood from mine. Her party is active and ongoing. Games for everyone. I just want everyone to chill and have fun, and not worry too much about mandatory games and activities. If you let her come to the wedding, she's going to do it whether you want her to or not. Tell her she's no longer invited. It's your wedding. You're allowed to not want something on such an important day like this. She is being super sensitive and disregarding your feelings entirely. If you explain to her that you both don't want this and she doesn't agree, then uninvite her. The last thing you need is anxiety from other people on that day. Hello everyone. I'm 38 male. I was married to my soon-to-be ex-wife, 39 female, for 15 years. until I found out she was cheating on me. We're in the middle of divorce proceedings. I don't want to talk about why our marriage ended to many people out of respect for our kids. However, a few close friends and family have asked, and I have told them. One of my best friends is married to one of my ex-wife's close friends. He was one of the people I confided what really happened to. And apparently, this has affected his wife's relationship with my ex-wife. According to my ex-wife, she has become distant and doesn't want to hang out anymore. My ex-wife has now asked me to lie about the reason why we got divorced, and to say to people who don't know that she cheated that it just didn't work out, and to tell the people who do know about her infidelity that I had also begun to develop feelings for my current girlfriend, 31 female, while we were still married, in my ex-wife's words, so her cheating doesn't seem as bad. This is absolutely untrue, and even though I knew my current girlfriend while I was married, there were never any romantic feelings until about a year after we separated and divorce proceedings had begun. This morning at my son's baseball game, my girlfriend, who has a son at the same team, was talking to another mother, and that mother made a joke about my girlfriend snatching me from my ex-wife. My girlfriend was confused and asked her to elaborate, and this woman said that my ex had insinuated to her that my girlfriend and I had begun dating a full year before we actually had, while I was still married, which my wife knows unequivocally isn't true. I want to keep a civil relationship for our kids' sake, but I'm incredibly upset at her for not only suggesting I lied to cover up a mistake she made that destroyed our family, but also that she's spinning the narrative that she only cheated because I was cheating too. Is this enough to cut all contact? With the exception of things that don't directly have to do with our sons. If she's willing to lie to look better, you should definitely not lie. It's her consequences for her actions. It's her problem. Tell everyone before she beats you to it and are the one who in the public eye cheated. Tell everyone. Post pics and video if you have them. She is trying to save face and not be accountable for her behavior. Don't worry about the kids. They're going to find out at some point anyway, if they don't already know, and found out some other way. Or even worse, your ex-wife makes them believe some BS story that makes you look bad to your children. Place the blame where it belongs. Why do you want to be civil with a woman that destroyed your marriage and family, and then spreading lies that make you look bad? 'Cause that's what's happening. Now she wants to turn you into a liar too. I sympathize with your situation and hope everything works out for you and your kids. My 32 female parents divorced before I was born. He moved in with his would eventually be wife and their 3 kids. Now 40 male with Down syndrome, 32 female and 28 female when I was 5. I visited them occasionally on weekends growing up, but I didn't have my own room, bed, or belongings in their home. I talked to them on the phone every few weeks. I was treated more like a cousin or friend to the children, rather than his daughter. Father did not spend any one-on-one time with me growing up. I once, at 10 years old, wrote him a letter asking if we could spend some just us time together so I could get to know him. It blew up. His wife and oldest daughter, same age as me, wrote me letters back telling me how hurtful my letter was to them, that I would want to disclude them from the time I wanted to spend with my dad. I was made to feel horrible and ashamed. At 18, they threw the oldest daughter a graduation party, invited me to it, and completely ignored the fact I had also graduated. As an adult, I barely speak to him. He has only met a few of my children. To be fair, he's reached out a few times trying to become part of my life, mostly since he was diagnosed with lung cancer. But I haven't been receptive. I'm not rude or mean about it, but politely passive. He's getting chemo and probably only has a few years left to live. Fast forward to yesterday. The 3 adult children had a big surprise party where they asked him to adopt them. There was a big sign, balloons, tons of people. I wasn't invited or even told beforehand. I saw it on social media. They're all making tons of posts about what a wonderful, supportive, loving dad he is. Of course, he said yes. He posted about how this moment was the highest achievement a parent could reach. I don't know how to feel or react. His wife and stepchildren consulted an attorney about the specifics of inheritance law. They realized becoming his legal children would greatly increase their chances of obtaining his assets, especially if their mother happened to predecease him. They may be trying to set up some kind of permanent trust to care for the 40-year-old with Down syndrome. You were treated very badly by your father and his second family while you were growing up. You were never treated as his child. It is understandable that you would not feel much warmth for him, or his wife, or her children. But his rejection still troubles you. You should see a therapist to talk to, or a counselor about this. Although you've rejected his attempts to reach out to you since his diagnosis, you are still angry and hurt at being excluded and replaced by his wife's children. His death will not make that hurt go away. It will make it much worse, since the distribution of his assets will likely exclude you. Another duck you, this time from the grave. Please, go talk to someone about this.